So, uh, here I am streaming. Whoops. Uh, I've got this page done. I just have to get their shoes done, and that's what I'm doing. Dag nabbit. Oh, I see. Yep. Thought I missed something, but I went so subtle on the color that I didn't miss it. It's just too subtle to be seen. So, next. This is all that has to be done is their shoes have to be. Did I finish a sentence? Their shoes have to be colored in. So I'm laying down the magenta layer. Again, the reason this is not the color of their shoes. I'm building the color brown via magenta and yellow. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm using the Craft Tone, it's called Craft Tone from True Grit Texture Supply. So I'm using that, and I'm going to create the quote-unquote perfect shade of brown by adjusting the combination of the four-color printing process like they did in the old days. That four-color being cyan, magenta, and yellow. Cyan is basically a blue color. Magenta is a sort of fuchsia color. And again, I initially thought I was going to use this brush pack, this Craft Tone brush pack from True Grit Texture Supply, the way it was intended to be used, which can be seen here, the dot matrix. And you would combine dot matrices of these four basic colors and create colors that way. But I decided that what I wanted to do was create I wanted to create the hues via the process of from a digital standpoint, saturation is not the term that I want to use. But so what I'm doing is changing the luminosity, i.e. the value. I think the iris. And I don't know. The thing about it is that when I try to explain it, I realize I don't think I'm doing something that is actually traditionally sound. I think this is actually a complicated process only possible in the digital realm. On the other hand, if this was on the other hand, I might not know what I'm talking about because the point is we're not going to lay down the magenta in this fashion. The thing is, I'm going on about something you won't understand when I'm done talking because the dot matrix is part of the true printing process. Traditional comics were printed with these values all basically intact, and that's why they would use the dot matrix to create the illusion that there were subtleties in the between the colors. What I'm doing is literally changing the level of intensity that the colors come through. So in other words, for example, this magenta layer is not going to be anything like that. Uh, I gotta get to the yellow before we see what this process is supposed to achieve. Again, it isn't that this process, when I'm done with it, isn't, that's the wrong tool. I'm gonna use the yellow. It isn't that the process is impossible to do in printing. It's that I doubt that any cheap 50s era comics would be printed this way. So the brutal reality is I'm doing something that goes against my idea here that this should be a direct appear to be a direct descendant of cheap comics. However, maybe that's hardly the important thing. This would all be possible in a high quality printing environment. Any number of colors, any variations. Anyway, I'll leave it at that because I'm just voicing my confusion at having arrived at this. I tell you why, because as much as I like the old comics aesthetic, it's often hideous, and I guess I'm just not going to I'm just not willing to go that far. I know a little about printing, and so I totally understand uh, some of the processes. And I don't know how you would prepare the press for this without ending up with this at some level. The concept of printing is dots. High quality printing. When you get to low quality printing, you just have to, you can print flats, but you can't print infinite variations of flats. What the machine is able to, how much ink can the machine carry? We're not talking about digital printers here. Oh, it's complicated. It's very complicated. In other words, I guess if I'm gonna sum up what I'm trying to say at all, just to try and explain why I'm saying anything. As I said, this process that I'm using to color these is reminiscent of old school and teaching me how to arrive at colors from the most basic reality of printing, the four color process. This could totally be done. This is totally legitimate. That's the problem. It's too legitimate. You can achieve marvelous results with modern printing equipment. So I'm kind of cheating the idea that this is an old school comic, even though it's supposed to look old school. I don't think you could do this in an inexpensive way on a press that was only capable of 4 to 5 colors at a time. The way traditional old school comics were printed. Today, anything goes. I could do anything, especially with digital printing. But at the end of the day, I'm having a little bit of fun with this process of arriving at colors. So you can see I've got what looks like, in context of the palette that it's against, it's like a fire engine red. It's really much more of an orange right now. But fire engine red is pretty close to what their shoes look like right now. Well, we certainly don't want that. So we go in here and we increase the luminosity, thereby decreasing its value, its heaviness in the composition. And we're gonna do the yellow at 30%, and then we're gonna go for the red, and that's gonna be a much higher percent, like 60. There, to give them that's orangey. So we gotta go more like 75. Actually, what the problem here is we gotta go more like 60, maybe more like 40. No, let's go to 60 and I'll show you what the problem is. If you see a problem, I see a problem. The shoes are too orange. I can't get them away from orange. I've got to go and get my cyan and bring some blue. It's technically it's not blue. It's cyan. I think I just put yellow on that layer. Let me make sure there's nothing there. Let me get my yellow thing. Oh, I want blue. Cyan, I should say. It's easy to call it blue, but it's not blue. So we get the blue in there. There's already blue in here, but that's from experimenting with a sort of, oh, what do you call that? I kind of wish I didn't do it, but I'm stuck with it now. Um, I'm putting it like everything's basically blue, and I'm being a little nitpicky about it, but I think that the audience, as long as they get the ideas, the thing I want to do is use color. See, right now we've got hideous green, but when we knock down the value of this blue, the the intensity to which it's applied to the substrate, although I'm talking about printing, right now we're just changing the luminosity, which in effect changes the value. The value goes down because the luminosity went up. Yep, I'm just rambling on about why I don't just color these things the color I want. Why don't I just pick the color and do it? I'm arriving at colors. Right now we've got green. We don't want green. What will be incredible to you, if you don't know anything about this, is that I'm going to get brown out of this. How do I just change brown to green? Well, the eye's a funny thing, and when you futz around with the luminosity, we'll just keep things in the digital world right now. When you futz around with the luminosity, especially if you futz around with the luminosity, you're going to get interesting results, and you'll see how the eye plays tricks. Because the blue, the cyan, the blue, is going to dance with these colors rather than make them green. It's making them green right now because that's the dance. I think this is the last shoe, and now we can make some adjustments, and then we can go on to oh no, there's 4 more shoes to do. Get this like this. And then I'm gonna move on to giving this more age. Gonna age it up with some more tools from True Grit Texture Supply, as well as what's that other company? Retro Supply. I believe I got the I'm building this comic with things from True Grit Texture Supply as well as Retro Supply. I got all the backgrounds and a lot of this wear and tear stuff that I'm gonna put in later. That I got these things from those 2 things. Yeah. So now I am finally done, and now we must do 2 things to get rid of these green shoes. First, we got to do the magic trick, and the magic trick is a shortcut key that makes a certain thing happen. And then we get into and we get that luminosity way up there, because we want these brown. So let's turn them orange. Okay, and then get back down here. We don't want them too bright because it's dark out, and we don't want them too dark because, just because, 60? I mean, that's definitely, I'm gonna go 60 and then I'm gonna go to the yellow and take some of that out. When I say take it out, I mean increase the luminosity. Increasing the luminosity creates more white, but I have everything on multiply so that white becomes invisible. Okay, so that's the magic trick that I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going up, 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 and now we've got, if you look at their shoes specifically, you see their shoes have turned an extremely, I don't know, cocoa color, and we don't want that. We want something more down here. I think I do want a little bit more cocoa than that caramel color. All right, so I'm going to do that, and then we can just take a little bit of red out. And by way of, now we can experiment with the saturation. You want to desaturate sometimes, but no, that's just making green. So we don't want to do that. And that would mean we probably don't want to adjust the luminosity because we're going to go green, right? So cancel this. These cocoa shoes are going to be good enough for me unless I take a little more blue out. Get them just a little bit brighter. I like to go in increments of 5 or 10. I'm going, I'm gonna try 25. I'm just gonna go 20 and leave it. I think it's quite fine. I think I'm basically done with this page. This page was really difficult to get through, and I'll tell you why. This panel, this panel, this panel, this panel, and this panel. Any questions about why I was daunted? Like, I am happy with the way it came out. I've got what I wanted, and so that's good enough. I, that's good enough. There we are. I don't like the blue in their face. You can see it. They look purplish, which is sort of like a thing. I mean, it's supposed to be dark. And I don't have a quick way to get rid of it. I have to go in and manually erase it all. And that's why I don't want to do it. There's no way for me to fix it without getting ambitious. And I may do that. I have fixed things before. I'll give you a silly example. Most there are I saw this in an old comic and said I've got to have some kind of like official publication information at the bottom of the opening page. And so I kind of forced it in here, and it's kind of, I'm just saying, that's an example of something I came in and did after. I did a few things after. Anyway, these pages are pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. There's some things I would do different if I was going to start all over again. But I'm not going to dwell on those things because, for all I know, people look at this and really just see exactly what it's supposed to look like. Two kids in the dark in the woods. especially when the previous page looks like this. You see, this is going to it's going to hit you in the moods. Yeah, this is supposed to give you the moods, man. All right, you know, that was that was me going live and talking about why. Again, I'm sitting here. I'm supposedly live. I'm gonna tell you guys. Oh, because I can understand people saying, "What the heck are you doing? What are you doing arriving at colors like this?" I never saw anybody do it like that. And as I said, I think I'm doing it I keep wondering why I'm doing it myself. But A, it's a little bit fun, kind of frustrating, but really cool to be able to jump in there and know what to do. That's what's cool. And the more I know about that, the better I'll be at actual painting when I start branching out from, committing to this kind of style for a while. That's my big plan. Okay, I guess I'm gonna sign off now. There'll be a video of this up soon. Big time lapse. Big 1 minute video.